Hello, hello. Welcome to the intuitive card reading for the week of June 16th through 22nd. Excuse me if I'm low energy today. I did not get a lot of sleep this weekend. And you guys will be seeing this on Monday. But yeah, I'm recording it over the weekend and not great sleep. Don't love it, but we're going to get through this. Okay, please like this video. Please share this video with anybody that needs to hear the energies of the week. Please subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell, and what else? Comments down below. Would love to hear how some of these messages resonate with you. If you are brave enough to share, and also if you have any feedback or any kind of comments, any kind of suggestions, any kind of anything, just be kind is all I ask. So, all right, guys, we're using two decks. You guys are familiar with these decks, the Archetype deck and the Wisdom of the Oracle. Yeah, and I'm feeling intuitively drawn to just these two decks to do this reading, and they're all shuffled, and that's it, guys. That's all I think we need to know, so let's just begin. What do we actually need to know from Spirit for the week? All right, we have Athlete, dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps, development of personal willpower and strength. Okay, love this card because it's always about discipline, willpower, stamina, things like that. So like transcending the norm, basically. And so basically it's saying that we need to do that, right? We need that willpower, we need that strength, we need that discipline, we need that stamina for this week. So this tells me that there's a little bit of this like pushing back energy or pushing through energy that we really need to tap into for this week. So hopefully it's not a drag. Obviously we'll pull the rest of the cards. This is only the first card of the deck. First card of the spread. And yeah, so it looks like we need to be pushing things through, but let's see what else we need to know. All right, action needed. We have why. Okay, so this is about self-awareness. This is about asking the deeper questions. This is about depth, okay? So we need to be asking ourselves the bigger questions. We need to be asking ourselves, you need to go a little bit more in depth. Honestly, I know I said self-awareness, but I think awareness in general. So this could also apply to asking maybe the bigger questions or the deeper questions about not only your own behavior or actions, but maybe the actions and behaviors of others. So we definitely need to be asking more questions in general is what Spirit is asking of us, right? Spirit is asking us to ask more questions. So take action on that, okay? It's important that we do that. All right, let's see what the issues are. Damsel, understanding the nature of healthy romance inspires you to find on yourself. Okay, but it's in the light. But it's under issue. Okay, so this is how I'm interpreting this. So basically, we usually hear damsel in the shadow, right? Where it's kind of like waiting for somebody to come save us, you know, feeling like we don't have any power, feel like we don't have any strength, right? From the athlete there. But this is basically saying that it's in the light, saying that we do recognize that. We do recognize that we can save ourselves. We do recognize that we do have power, but it's under issue. So we might have some issues with that, where maybe you do maybe cognitively understand that, but maybe emotionally you're having issues moving through that, okay? You might also have issues with clarity around that. Like, in what way is Spirit is asking me to do that? In what ways is Spirit asking me to save myself? You can pair it with the why, you know, question right there, and that could, ask questions about this and kind of figuring out, you know, why you're having issues being empowered, or, maybe there's something that you're not necessarily seeing or being aware of, like, right? That card is all about awareness, but it definitely, we have issues being in that archetype, being in that role for whatever kind of reason. And it's kind of up to you to figure out that reason. But it definitely is positive that it's in the light, because basically it's saying, like, again, it could be cognitively there, but maybe we're not feeling it, or maybe we're not actually taking action on it, or something. Like, there's just one last piece that we need to kind of push through, or, you know, put the last piece of the puzzle together to really feel ultimately empowered and actually embodying that damsel archetype. Okay, clean it up. We've had this, I think we had it last time in the last week. So clean it up is about doing, last minute things, or picking up after the storm, right? Clean it up. Yes, I think I wrestled with this last time about like being Oh, let me put the card down. Being kind of linked to endings. I think I was iffy on that. I think we got the New Life card, which, let's see if we get it again, guys. Same deck, so we'll see. But it start, you know, as we went on with the reading, it became kind of clearer and clearer that it was really kind of about endings. But again, I'm not necessarily feeling it super strongly. I would definitely say more strongly than maybe the last time. But it definitely does feel like not necessarily starting projects before we're finishing up what, you know, cleaning up like the last project basically. So it's under challenge. So we're having issues with that, right? So we're having challenges with that. This could definitely be like you're trying to start something new when maybe the time isn't right. When you're trying to do, you know, start a new project and the old project is, you know, biting you in the ass or something. Like it's coming back to haunt you in some way, shape, or form. Okay, so because we didn't close up or clean up from the last one, right? Something is kind of going on where it's affecting, like we're trying to move forward and trying to force and push through. We have that push through, right? Which we do need to do, but don't let it, I would say this, if we push too far and we're not necessarily doing it in a way that's more in flow, that we can hurt ourselves, right? And that's what I would say about athlete, right? If you train too hard, if you work too hard, train too hard, don't give yourself a break, you can obviously hurt yourself, right? For the, you know, and be out for the season or whatever. So basically this is saying don't go too far, you know, really do rely more on divine timing. You guys know I'm a big proponent of alignment and flow. If it doesn't feel in alignment, it doesn't feel in flow, do not force it, okay? It's different from obstacles, but, you know, and it's up to your intuition to tell you which one is which, but this is basically saying that we're having issues with cleaning things up before moving on to the next thing, okay? So, again, let me know down below how it resonates with you, because this is a reading for the collective, so it could resonate very differently for everybody, but that's what's coming through there. All right, change. We have saboteur in the shadow, induces self-destructive behavior, the desire to undermine. This is positive because it's under change, and it's under, I know it's coming through the shadow. It's basically saying the saboteur is basically the self-sabotager, basically self-sabotaging, like not allowing yourself to have good things. That is changing, right? We want this card under the change slot here, because I would be worried if it was somewhere else, but I'm not, because it's under change. So basically it's saying like all of the behaviors that maybe kept us stuck, all of the mindset that maybe has kept us stuck, and this is also linked more to pessimism, right? So our pessimism could be changing to more of an optimism, which is great. So we're not, you know, holding ourselves back anymore. We're not, guys, life is hard enough, you know, with all the obstacles that we have in life, you know, coming at us externally. It's, you know, we create the internal problems, right? Yes, the external problems we can't, you know, natural disasters, illness, you know, things like that we experience that we don't necessarily have any, you know, we could try to control them as much as we can, eat healthy, you know, try to prepare for natural disasters, but, you know, we can do our best with that, right? We can control what we can't control, but usually these factors are just, you know, crap happens, right? So the saboteur is about the internal, right? Where we really have more control over that. So basically it's saying we are changing our outlook on those things, right? We're changing our outlook on not, you know, seeing the things that are holding us back and not allowing ourselves to be the ones that are holding ourselves back. So definitely changing is, to sum that up, I definitely went on a tangent there, which I'm trying not to do, but we're not holding ourselves back anymore, basically, and we're definitely, you know, switching up the pessimism, which I think is really great, because even if nothing changes on the outside of things in our environment, mindset is always either, you know, equally, or I would say better, okay? Emotionally and mentally, sometimes it's better than the physical, right? So Spirit is saying that we definitely need this mindset shift for sure to kind of move forward, which, again, I think is a positive. Okay, focus, exchanging gifts. We've been getting this one a lot. This is about, you know, don't worry about the gifts part, even though it can mean that. This is about an even give and take. So we need to focus on that. That actually might have been in the same slot. I'm not necessarily sure, but we definitely need to work still and focus on work on and focus on that even give and take of, giving and receiving. Okay, so something is still a little bit unbalanced, but definitely make sure this is still a focus this week. All right, what do we need to reflect on? We have destroyer, intoxication with destructive power, destroying others' dreams or potential. Okay, so this is interesting because this is almost very similar to the saboteur, because it's saying like, reflect on our own destructive power, how we destroy ourselves, how we put ourselves down, how we crush our own dreams, how we crush our own potential. Those are pretty big journal prompts, okay? But I'm actually not surprised that this is pretty deep because of the why, right? Basically what we need to take action on is going a little bit deeper. So far, guys, to kind of like sum up these energies of these cards, it's almost telling a story of like, we need to go deeper, okay? Into the motivations behind why we do certain things, okay? It's looking like it's becoming very apparent this week. Definitely, like I said, looking like it's turning around. We're not getting in our own ways anymore. But we need to kind of go to the root cause of why we were doing that in the first place, okay? So it's not just as simple as something happened to me and I'm pessimistic. There's something deep, deep, deep down that, our own, like looking at our own inner destroyer. Like, why do we get into really good relationships, really positive relationships, really healthy relationships, and then try to find something wrong with them as soon as we're in them? Okay, that's a good reflection. All right, we've got a really good reflect card here. So, take any situation that you feel like you've been kind of sabotaging your own self, where you've been your own saboteur, when you've been your own destroyer, right? Where you've gotten in your own way, okay? So these are really good things to think about, and I love that came up under our reflect section there. All right, what do we have responsibilities with? Soulmates. Okay, so this is about the people in your life that things seem to be a little bit more harmonious, and closer relationships, I would say. So your responsibilities this week is to be a good soul friend, soul fam, soulmate, okay? So it could be anybody in your life that really, I definitely getting the feeling of like needing you, needing somebody, needing for you to be there for them. So your responsibilities are to definitely make time at some point this week, even though it does look like it's a heavy, maybe heavy is not the right word, a more focused, let me say, priority, I think is the best word to kind of describe this. Is priority is kind of like working on yourself, right? But also you have a responsibility to the people in your life, to be there for them if they need you to be there for them. All right, money and finances. We have Hermit. Seek solitude to focus intently on inner life, serious personal creativity. Okay, not necessarily surprised by this. This is a money, finance, and career. We have the Hermit, okay? So it's saying serious personal creativity. Okay, so this is honestly more so saying, and again, I'm not surprised by it because I just said this week feels like more of the priority is doing inner work, personal development, spiritual evolution, okay? It doesn't necessarily feel like it's an extremely ambitious week, even though I will say we have the athlete card, discipline, stamina, pushing through, that kind of thing. So it definitely could relate to money, finance, and career, but we're looking at the Hermit right now, and basically it's saying like, it's time for solitude, go within, don't necessarily worry about career, finances, and money, which is it's a little invalidating in a way, the way that I'm saying it, and I don't mean it to be, because I know these are big factors in people's lives. Money makes the world go round, unfortunately, right? Unfortunately, we are, or fortunately, in human bodies, and that is the currency that we deal with, right? We have to make money because it, puts a roof over our head, and money, and food in our mouths, right? And feeds our family. So I understand that it's a worry for a lot of people, but it's almost saying like, not to dismiss it or anything like that, but it definitely does feel like it's not exactly the week to be extremely boisterous or super outgoing, or extremely ambitious. Again, I will say that we do have the athlete card there, but take it as you will. Maybe for some of you guys, I do feel like this energy is stronger here, where it just kind of feels like it's kind of a mute point. Okay, and we've been getting like a little bit more of this type energy in the money, finances, and career. And I know it's frustrating. It's frustrating for me. Okay, I will put my 2 cents in here. You guys know I usually jump in and chime in, but money has been a frustrating topic for me the last several years. So I get that, and so like hearing that, I'm just like, oh God, all I've been doing is isolating. All I've been doing is not worrying about career, money, and finances. Getting ahead, that kind of thing. So don't love it, but I always give you guys the truth. So there's that. So it's more of a week of going within than making more money, I'll just say, and getting ahead. Surprise. Okay, loyal heart. Okay, so this is a positive surprise. So we've been getting a couple of things here and there in the last few weeks, several weeks, I would say, where loyalty is being tested, or we're having conflicts with more soulmate types. But it definitely does feel like soulmates, loyal heart coming through feels more positive, because it feels like those connections, maybe I wouldn't say are mended, but are better in the way that there's more loyalty, and there's more connection for sure. And it's loyal heart is under surprise. So basically it's saying like, you might be surprised by somebody's loyalty in some way, shape, or form. Like maybe somebody shows up for you that maybe you didn't think would, because maybe you've been having these conflicts in the last several weeks or whatever with them. But you'd be surprised at people's hearts. You'd be surprised at, in some way, shape, or form, somebody comes through for you that maybe you weren't expecting them to in some way, shape, or form. So that's positive. All right, friends, we have advocate. Okay, inspires you to put compassion into action. Okay, so this is about asking for what you want, demanding what you want, requesting what you want. So speaking up for yourself, speaking up for others. I always think of this when I think of my situation. I've had to be an advocate for myself, right? I've had to say, hey, no, this isn't just anxiety, something else is going on, like that kind of thing in the medical community. This isn't friends. So basically, this is about voicing what you feel isn't fair, voicing your side of things, voicing your opinion, your boundaries, making sure that you are speaking up, basically, so to your friend group or people that you're close with or interact with like on a daily basis. I would also put coworkers in here. So there's something here where we need to advocate for ourselves, whether it's you need to ask for more, okay? You need to ask for more support. You need to, maybe this friend stuff that's been going on in the last several, weeks or so has been about, maybe your needs are changing within a particular dynamic, right? Or a friend group or something like that. And you need to voice and advocate for yourself about what you actually need, right? And advocate is really about, as the card says, is putting it into action. So you definitely need to voice it and speak it out. So yeah, that could mean a few different things. This could also be just like advocating for somebody. Maybe a friend of yours is being bullied and you want to advocate for them, right? So there's all different ways how this could manifest and appear in your life this week. And I would love to know how it does down below. Okay, am I getting annoying? I hope I'm not getting annoying. All right, romantic connection, we have unfinished symphony. Okay, so this is very similar to the clean it up card, because this is basically saying something feels unfinished. We're not finishing something up. So this isn't romantic connection. So we could be getting hints here and there about something that feels unfinished within your romantic connection. This could mean this week something could come up from an unfinished fight, or an unfinished argument, or, guys, I hate to say this, an old ex-lover may come in, and that's might be unfinished business. Maybe you never got the closure. People talk about closure a lot in romantic connections. You never got the closure with that particular connection. So yeah, single people, okay, because that still counts under a romantic connection. This could be you going back to an ex. This could be somebody circles back around that maybe you've dated and you even go on a second date, but now they appear, maybe they ghosted you and now they want to go on a second date. Spirit is not saying one way is, positive or the other. It's just saying this is what's circling back around. So there's something unfinished that's kind of coming up here. So is Spirit saying to finish it? It's up to you. But something is cycling around. That's all I'm going to say here, because I'm not getting too much more, to be honest. All right, what's important? So we have Virgin in the shadow, fear of intimate union. Okay, so this is afraid of doing something because you haven't done it before, right? I know. This and the prostitute card I always get. It's really the energy, guys. Please do not take a lot of these. Like, basically, the athlete is not telling you to go out and run, 2 marathons this week, okay? It's not literal, right? And so I just want to put my little disclaimer here. But it's basically saying, like, you're, you haven't done something before, and you kind of have fear or reservations about going forward or doing it. So it's under important, and basically it's saying it's important that you do honor that, okay? It's important that if you are scared to do something or you haven't done something before, like, all your reservations are completely valid, okay? So it's important to understand that. It could also mean it's important to kind of move past that fear, right? It's yes, it's valid, but also like moving past it as well. So it's just important to understand that. So to me, this feels like, even though we have these cards that really do kind of almost signify like an ending, this is almost like hinting to a beginning in a way. It's not the new life card, but it's somewhat similar, but it's about doing something for the first time and being, apprehensive of it, basically. So take that as you will. Okay, health and wellness. We have no place like home. Pretty sure we had this in the same slot. Can't confirm because my memory is also still terrible. But this is basically saying like doing things that feel like home. It's under health and wellness. Home is also linked to bodies. So I just mentioned earlier, we are humans. We're in human bodies, and we're here on this earth, right? We have a mind, we have a soul as well that accompanies those. But this is, your body is the home that you live in as a human being, right? So it could absolutely be this. So it's about going back to home. So for people on a physical health journey, which, I'm raising my hand, you guys can't see it because I'm not on camera, but this could be going back to homeostasis, getting your body back into balance, right? Maybe that's something that you have to do. If this is maybe a mental health journey that you're on, maybe this means you have to go back to your hometown this week, and you have to kind of like face like your childhood stuff again. It's not super pleasant for you. Okay. I know a lot of people that it's really hard to go home. This could also mean starting back from like the origin, like the foundation. So if, it could really kind of signify if you're on a spiritual health journey, like a spiritual awakening journey, this could be going back to who you really are, like taking away all the ego, taking away all the masks, and really seeing who you are, like authentically down to the core, right? So your authentic self, your higher self. So that could mean that as well. So this has definitely a lot of different interpretations, but I see it as a really positive thing, and it's just kind of saying like, go towards what feels like home, start from the beginning, go back to basics, go back to homeostasis, like that kind of thing. So again, apply it as you will. Overall outcome. Hero, heroine. Yes, what a great card to get for the last. Passion for a journey of personal empowerment. What did I say? I really do feel like this week is about, it's basically saying the hero of your own personal empowerment journey. So personal development journey, okay? That's what this week is about. It really does feel that way, especially since we got the Hermit card in a very prominent area where it's saying like, bro, don't even worry about other stuff right now. Like this week is all about you and like improving yourself and working through things and getting through things, because we started with the athlete, which basically it's saying like, just get through this week. Okay, it's going to be a little tough in that way, but I definitely do feel like we have a lot of growth, interpersonal growth happening this week, and it's very apparent. right? Especially with that change card up there with that Saboteur, especially because that's a big deal. Getting out of our own ways, right? Getting out of our own way and, you know, becoming a little bit more optimistic, but also seeing how we are playing a part in our own suffering. Okay, that's huge. So I love it. Be there for friends too at the same time, as we've gotten a few, you know, Advocate, Soulmates card, Loyal Heart. Somebody comes out of the blue to assist you in some way, shape, or form. Someone pulls through for sure here with that surprise, which I love. But I love it. I think, you know, it maybe at first glance it looks a little scary, but I'm not scared, guys. I think it's a really positive week in the way of, you know, growth, personal growth. And I think that builds character and it builds confidence. And those are just, you know, we've gotten the confidence card, not in a while, but we were getting a lot of, you know, not a lot of confidence with, you know, self-confidence within ourselves. I think that's an oxymoron, self-confidence within ourselves, but you guys know what I'm saying. Like, this is actually how experience and asking yourselves the deeper questions and going within, you know, being brave enough to go within, all of those things help us grow and help with that confidence that we really do need to move forward, because obviously we do need it to move forward. So okay, guys, I love it. There's not too much more I can say here except have a great week, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.